So good evening. Hello. Let's get more energy in this hall. Good evening. Thank you. So this is me, Gitikka, Ganju, Dhar, and I'm very happy to be here to be able to steer this distinctive and important panel discussion on the role of NFDC in elevating skill and talent development in the Indian M&E sector. But first, to all of you, a very warm welcome to Goa, a very warm welcome to the 53rd edition of the International Film Festival of India, and a very warm welcome this evening to this panel discussion. All of you are feeling good? Enjoying the story thus far? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this year, we have a lot of new flowers in the bouquet of IFFI. Before I begin the panel discussion, I must share with you all, so you all can further share with friends and family who also wanted to be a part of IFFI but haven't been able to make it here on ground. We have a link available on the website. They could register and they could be a part of all launch events, cinema viewings, press conferences, panel discussions, virtually, all of it. So in case someone out there that you know wants to be a part of IFFI, please give them this piece of information. Everything is going great so far. We have main attractions such as the Indian Panorama that was established in 1978 and since then has been showcasing the very best cinematic brilliance from the world of Indian cinema. The country of focus this year is France, and we are so happy to showcase cinematic brilliance and contribution to film art. By France, we of course have the initiative that began last year on the occasion of 75 years of India's independence, hashtag 75 Creative Minds of Tomorrow, that is on in full force and will meet fruition tomorrow sometime. We're excited about that. And we have lots more happening at the 53rd edition of the International Film Festival of India. Yay! You know, ladies and gentlemen, I am, first of all, a passionate Indian. I'm a mother, I'm an anchor, I'm an actor, a bit of a writer. But most of all, I'm an ardent lover of cinema. So for me, this work is play. And I'm like big-eyed, happy to be here amidst such cinematic, brilliant talent and brilliant production. So happy to be here and happy to invite on the dais esteemed guests and dignitaries to take forward this talk of the hour. May I please invite on stage Neerja Sekhar, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. She's also member of the steering committee at the 53rd IFFI. And ladies and gentlemen, I must share with you all that this lady here is making a very, very pioneering contribution to the growth of the Indian M&E sector. Good evening, ma'am, and a very warm welcome. May I also please invite on the dais Ravinder, Bhakar, Managing Director, National Film Development Corporation. Sir, aye. Good evening, sir. Very warm welcome to you. He is a highly awarded public service professional. Ladies and gentlemen, we Indians owe all of them a lot. So round of applause for him too, please. Welcome. May I please also invite on stage Carter Pilcher, who is CEO and founder of Shots TV. Good evening, Carter. For those of you who don't know, Shots TV is the first and only 24/7 HD short movies channel, screening across the US, Europe, Latin America, and India. Millions and millions of homes and offices there. Very warm welcome to you too. May I please invite on stage Ravi Kotarakara, President of the Film Federation of India. He's President of South Indian Chamber of Commerce, and he is Chief Patron at Innovative Film Academy. Please put your hands together. One round of applause for him. Good evening. Very warm welcome to you too. And ladies and gentlemen, may I please invite an actor who has displayed brilliance film after film after film, year after year after year. We're delighted to have her as one of the steering committee members at the 53rd IFFI. Please welcome on stage the very talented Hrishitaa Bhatt. Good evening. Put your hands together louder for her. Come on. Lovely. So good to have you here with us, and we are waiting to hear from you. Yes. And may I please invite on stage National Award-winning, talented, brilliant actor, Tannishtha Chatterjee. Tannishtha Chatterjee. Pardon me? Pardon me, public apology for that.
That's okay.
But please take your seat, and delighted to have you. And I don't mind standing and doing this, but if I get a chair, then I'd also be comfy. Yeah, if you can, would be great. So I'd like to start with you, ma'am. Goes without saying that we in India, we do need an even more conducive environment for skill development, for talent development in the Indian M&E space. I'd like to start with a broad blanket question as to presently on ground, what are the initiatives in that direction by the Government of India and by the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting? Thank you.
Yes, thank you for this question, because this is an overarching one and pertains to the entire media and entertainment sector. So we will be talking about skilling, opportunities, and skilling requirements that will be fulfilled in the media and entertainment sector. Now that we are in the Film Bazaar and the Knowledge Series, let's talk more about film and television sector, the content creation sector in particular. So there are a number of areas in which skilling, requirements of skilling has been felt about. Just in the morning, we had a roundtable with the industry, where one of the issues that was discussed was skilling across the filmmaking areas and also skilling for the technical side of filmmaking. So all these areas, so far as from screenwriting to direction to cameraman editing, all kinds of trainings are not only being created and taught in the film training institutes that we have in the government and a number of private ones in the private sector. There are individual standalone institutions for film training, and there are affiliated or let's say arts courses in various training institutions in the country, including UGC courses in the colleges and the universities. But what we will be talking about is creating an ecosystem in the country so far as skilling for this sector is concerned. So as you know, it was announced in the budget that there is a promotion task force that was created in the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting for the AVGC sector. So as a part of the deliberations with the entire industry for this sector, we will be recommending that training for design, for arts, for creative arts should be a part of the IT-related courses right from school time. So that's the kind of ecosystem we are planning to create for the entire country, so that just like in schools, you have your computer labs. So at that stage, we plant the seed of creative design in the students. So that's what we are now looking at. So then as we grow from the school to college and for vocational and training not only training courses, but also upgrading skills specifically for this sector. That's the kind of ecosystem that we are looking at.
Ma'am, with all of your permission, I'm going to stay with you for just a few more minutes here. You did talk about educational institutions. We will talk about that. We will talk about how ecosystem has to be altered and upgraded to support skill development in the sector. But I'm very, very interested in what you just spoke about as to how in the coming future, we will have creative labs in school. Could you, if you have your thoughts clear on that, could you enumerate a bit more? I mean, it sounds just the thing that needs to be done. If you'd like to enumerate at this point.
See, as the creative economy and the media and entertainment sector grows, we all know that everybody can be a filmmaker now that we have cell phones in our hands.
Yes.
So why restrict it to a selected few? Let the talent grow where it is, in situ development and training of the talent, which means villages, tier 1, of course, but tier 2 and tier 3 towns as well. So as is, where is.
Okay.
So in situ, we want this kind of development of talent to be there, and that's why this kind of skilling has to be all over, not only in selected areas. So that's what we are looking at.
So you're looking at mass skill development beginning right from grassroots level.
See, children are very smart.
Absolutely.
They know how to handle technology.
Of course.
So we'll just support that talent of theirs.
Yes.
So I think the system should be created in a manner, and we are working towards that so that it is enabled at the right time.
As Citizen India, I'm delighted to hear about this forthcoming new change in our education system. I think it'll go great guns. That's so exciting. Ravinder ji, I'd like to come to you. We all know that the National Film Development Corporation, you as it is, are a part of the film industry. You also have direct connections with all grandmasters, stalwarts in the film industry, not just in India, but across the world. How do you envision your contribution? This is just, again, a blanket question that I'm beginning with. Your contribution to the purpose of talent and skill development in India.
As Neerja ma'am mentioned, the demand of the skilled manpower in the AVGC sector or the media entertainment sector is much higher as per the supply available in the market. Whatever talent pool is available, that is not sufficient to cater the kind of requirements which is coming from this sector.
So you're saying demand is much more than
so
supply.
there is a huge potential. That's why the government has also realized, and the kind of directives and the which ma'am mentions, they are particularly in that directions only, to fill up the gap and to create a more pool of talent in this sector. NFDC has also realized, so we have a separate skill development department for that, and they are, in fact, in the August this year only, we have been given dual awarding body status from the National Council of Vocational and Educational Training under the Ministry of Skill Development. And we have designed and content for, as of now, 10 courses we have designed, including animation, photography, and other important courses. And we have a plan of designing at least offering 50 courses to the interested students. And in fact, for the last many years, we are into this field. And in the southern part of the country, we have trained more than 20,000 youths. And out of them, more than 70% have been employed also in the various media units. So that's a big satisfaction, and that's a big motivation, and that's why we have decided we should go in a big way in this, empowering skill, and that's why a separate and dedicated department has been created by NFDC, and we are pursuing it vigorously so that we fill up the gap of the requirement.
Since you say that you are pursuing this vigorously, that means the government of India has somewhere recognized that the film economy of the country in the future can serve overall growth, not just in terms of economy, but also the soft power of the country. So it is something that now, as a government, you are committed to, which wasn't earlier, I think, a few decades back.
Exactly. So, we all realize after the IT, the media and entertainment is the second sector which provides the maximum job opportunities to the youth.
We must underline that. So could you say that again?
So, and the way it is booming, even in the pandemic, the growth is, annual growth rate is around 30%. So the kind of requirement this sector is throwing to the youth is amazing. That's why the ministry has also decided to create in fact, a workforce specially dedicated to AVGC sector. We are tying up with the world's best school in this regard. We are in the process of knowledge sharing with them. So we have a big plans to basically aggressively enter into this market.
Lots of action happening there. I'd like to underline what he just said, that this is the sector that is the second largest provider of employment opportunities in the country, is what you're saying. And you getting awarding body status by NCVET is also a step that clearly indicates the seriousness of the government to be able to, talent develop in this sector. I'm going to take a little bit of a diversion there and come to both of you, and this stands for both of you. If you were to rewind your journeys, and I'm assuming that the both of you had to struggle a bit. If you didn't, then great, but I'm assuming that you had to, very assumptive of me. If you rewound and you could redo a few things, what would you tell the government? How could this process of you going from being talented and enthusiastic to actually getting opportunities to showcase your talent, that journey that you made, how could that journey have been different if the government had done A, B, C, D in the past? So we just get those, we'll get those inputs there that what are the real changes that need to be made?
Yeah, I think
it's different now than it was
No, I think
before.
it's a very interesting question because, see, I am from a institute, I studied in National School of Drama.
Okay.
And yet, even after coming out of an institute and being a skilled actor, unlike other fields, where if I come out of IIT or IIM and National School of Drama is a premier institute of that level in the field that it is.
It's
in
institute.
India, yes. So in spite of that, so you have campus recruitments from all these premier institutes in other fields, right? But NSD or drama or acting or filmmaking as writing, any of these skills don't have any. We still are led into an unorganized sector. Like when I started out. And we had to start from scratch and tell people, go and meet people and say that, hey, listen, I am a trained actor, but please audition me. After doing 5 films again, we have to, it's still this, you're still, after attending, taking your films to the biggest festivals in the world, getting recognition, even then, winning a national award.
Yes.
Even after that, you have to still go and tell people that, hey, listen. So that doesn't happen in most fields. You have a resume, and so I don't know how the government does anything because we are an unorganized sector, and how it organizes. Maybe we can talk about this, that how when you come out of an institute, how there is a channel like, or there are campus recruitments that, studios, casting directors, like now, of course, things are more organized in the industry than
Much
from,
more.
2005, 6, when I started, it's
more.
much better. But would these institutes also be sort of linked to, the casting agencies, casting directors, production houses, studios? I would say that, yes, the government can help in facilitating maybe a process in that manner, or at least
let's go with
starting the discussion.
Yes,
yeah.
let's go with that train of
Yes.
thought there, but with her adding her journey to it, and then I'm going to sort of direct that question towards them
Yes.
here. Yes,
Yes.
Hrishitaa, tell us, come on, from your point of view. Looking at you doesn't seem like you struggled at all.
Hi everyone,
You look-
75th IFFI has been brilliant. I hope you all are enjoying it. I have believed cinema brings joy. I believe that cinema is the most important thing for India. And
Wow.
we're a hero-driven nation. We love cinema. I grew up watching cinema.
Yeah.
Frankly, we're all actors. We're all in this room
Are we?
actors. And for me, it was always about the passion. But 2 things here. While you have passion, you have energy, you need some skill, you need some honing your skill courses, you need to know what you need to do at what time, and whether it comes in the format of editing, dance, speech, how you carry yourself. There's so much that goes into acting,
Yes.
and that is so important. So I think like Neerja ji said and Ravinder ji already mentioned that there is already an input from the government that they have started doing things to get people moving, which we did not have at our age and time.
Okay.
But of course, like Tannishtha was mentioning, there was drama schools. I did a course with Trinity College of London. I did an affiliated course in speech and drama, and I'm a trained dancer. It was not specifically for acting. It was something I loved doing. And I believe that for any actor, you need to, or any professional, you need to love doing. And today's youth has that. Like, ma'am said that they're on their cell phones. They know how to make a film. They know what they can do with technology. Life has changed. I don't look at my journey. I think I grew along with that. And I feel that in the coming of times, this should become a course. It should be something which we may discuss. Because when you're acting, there are some small things that we do not understand, and that's why training is important. We learned while we were acting. For me, it was, it was a day when I started modeling because I loved doing what I did. I was a performer. But, to understand where to take my light from, what camera to face, what to do, those are the things that you get to know even better when you're in front of a camera and not on stage. There are two things to this. So, somebody to get that and to understand these technicalities. Now you have animation also. So you see, with time, there's a lot of development, and I think we're all bringing in as many inputs as we can. 75, Creative Minds has started already under the initiative of the government, and I think that's brilliant. It's new. This is the second year, and that definitely will help. And I think this is something we should be doing even outside of IFFI, because there are so many enthusiastic people. And I think that's what will drive this nation, because if you look at cinema today, it's on a global platform. We are the content hub. And that has changed. I'm telling you, it's a journey that I have lived. And what we didn't have that time was, the exposure, the kind of, probably, I think, Tannishtha, you did some international work. We didn't know how to have that on the platter, but how do you meet people? There were no casting agents, there were no...
We will talk about that.
So many things were there, and I think that has opened already, and we should start getting that.
So from taking from what you've just said, she laid stress on opportunities, and you laid stress on how training platforms were not very freely available when you were making your journey as an actor. That education is what you stressed on.
There are two things: education, your skill development, which of course a lot of people have. They train themselves and come. But if you look at today's actors, they know exactly. When you say, wow, this youth is doing really well, they're really good. Why? Because they've already learned from the past.
Yes.
There are more opportunities. You have OTT, you have television, you have films. There's so much more. So you have to understand that, like the demand and the supply bit, that you need to start having that. In every sector, I think it's everywhere.
I feel, given the complexity of a creative industry, it will be a multi-layered approach that the government will take along with multiple stakeholders across the country. We can't clearly spell out, categorize, but it's going to be so many things happening at so many levels with so many different stakeholders. Very exciting. I'm going to steer this conversation towards where it all begins: education, skill development, talent training. Sir, may I come to you? You are heading Innovative Film Academy, and you are right now based in Bangalore. I've been told you're expanding into other cities also. Right now, if you were to give it a bird's eye view, how does the education space for this industry look like in India? And where do you see we lack, and where do you see we've made good progress? And what is the road ahead that you'd advise? Big, long question, sir, but important question.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
The question is simple. It's not big. Okay.
I'm glad.
Let us take it in the reverse way.
Ji.
Okay? First, you've got something called film bazaar.
Yes.
So, all of us should remember that the cheapest form of entertainment in India is cinema. One.
Okay.
Film bazaar, which was started by NFDC way back, with the
1970.
idea is to create content which was created to ensure it reaches the right people, market. How do you market it? Okay. We usually say skill development. Skill development is important.
Yes.
Acting is important. Direction, photography, these are all parts. Then you need a person to put all this together, a film producer who ensures that the right people are there to make the right content, choose the right content, put it into the market. And how does he market it? This all has to be explained in that college. Because, or a university, or any skill development center. And that was what NFDC was earlier doing, and which is now again started in a big way now. Because making content, we've got a lot of youngsters here. They're making content. How does this content being delivered to the public? There's so many ways. You got OTT, you got satellite, you got theaters. So the most important is making content is too simple. A lot of people are making content. Today you've got hours and hours of content being generated. The right moment today, I've got minimum at least 1,000 hours of content being developed every day in India alone.
Probably more, yes.
1,000 hours, only in
Yes.
India I'm saying,
Yes.
from cinema. But how do you ensure this content reaches to the public? This is the
Okay.
most important thing. We should educate our children, especially our students, that this content should be marketed in the right way. That is the most important. Making content is simple because we got talent, budding talents, lot of people. And this is where the government is now helping us a lot. There were times when we used to go and ask the government, help us. But now they have come forward to us.
Yes.
They are saying, yeah, let us go, do it. In fact, sorry, I have to say this, Neerja, I have to tell you, ma'am, and Ravinder also. At Cannes, one of the stalls we had put, it was a fantastic stall. At Berlinale, because we are trying to, showcase our content to the international arena. So if this is being done, not only at Cannes, at Bazaar here, at Film Bazaar, our young talent will get an opportunity to showcase their talent, market their talent, and end of the day, skill, talent, everything will get a positive chance to reach its final
To reach its-
destination,
the
that is the
destination.
audience.
Ji, ji.
That is the most important thing.
Ji.
And being the biggest responsibility of that is none other than the government. But I'm not putting it on the government but the government should take an initiative.
Yes.
One is, I have to lastly say, which our Prime Minister, beloved Prime Minister said something, is increase the density of our screens. In China, we got a lot of number of screens. Today, of late, after Corona, the number of screens have reduced. But now we should also increase number of screens in India and also find new markets, avenues to showcase this content.
Okay. So you're stressing on creating opportunities to market content that is already being made in the country. You're saying in very, very big, substantial proportion. That is what your stress is on. But yes, ma'am, please.
I want to discuss a point with you. See, we were talking of scouting of talent and talent being in one place and the requirement being in another and, the connect not being there. So in our last few months or a couple of years of interaction with the FTI and SRFTI, we felt this very strongly in the ministry. So we felt that like in most of the professional colleges, there is no internship of the students with the industry. Yes. So which creates a content and then nor are there placements. Placements happening for
Yes,
every
ma'am.
pass out.
Fashion actually has that. Institute and industries related.
So you're saying NIFT has that happening for them.
NIFT.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why actually I think the most
you-
innovative, sorry.
No, please. Yes.
So,
thank you.
which is why I think some of the most innovative, creative work, which is internationally recognized from India, is actually happening in fashion.
So we've requested both FTI and SRFTI from the government side to set up placement cells
Okay.
and
Wow.
redesign their syllabus in a manner so that they have internships with the industry. See, their programs are very tight. It's a
Yes.
1-year course and 1.5-year course or maybe 2 years. So it's very tightly packed. They don't have time for 3 months or 6 months internships, but we've requested them. So, since you are from the film chamber, the question, let me,
Yes, ma'am.
the thing is, why doesn't the industry go to these institutes in particular and NSD scouting for talent, the kind of placement from that side, looking for talent?
Also, so
As a chamber, it can be, done in a collective manner.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
also, sir, before you answer, I'd like
Yeah,
to also
please,
add to
please.
that maybe it's time to roll out directives like the education sector, when in schools what is taught, in colleges what is taught, the government bodies such as yours are telling everybody out there, this is how it should move. So maybe it's time to issue directives and say that this is how it should move, that get them internship, get them trainings. Yes, sir, please.
I would like to go back to one simple thing which happens in Berlinale. and it can't, especially in Europe, even in US. They've got something called a registry.
A registry.
There's a registry.
Okay.
There's all the artists are registered. Cinematographers are there. Budding, aspiring artists are there. When you go to, especially, you know, you have attended all international festivals.
Okay.
So we get access to all the people who are interested in acting. In case I need a person for, simply I'm just saying, for a father's character, I'll get a different variety of persons. So there must be a system where we are having an indexing system where I have got so many artists are available, so many directors are available, cinematographers are available, sound recordists. So we should build up a registry. For this, building up this registry cannot be done by the association alone. It is the talent, along with the government and along with the chambers of commerce like us. Let us ensure there is a registry system, because we have got NFDC, you know, and we have also requested NFDC to make a small register. Not now. This proposal was there around so many years ago, to all budding artists, directors, cameramen. We have a registry from each state. So today I'm going now, I just want to say I'm going to Rajasthan to shoot.
Okay.
I'm going to Rajasthan to shoot. I need some artists. So at Rajasthan, these artists are available. These makeup men are available, costumers are available. So there must be some national registry of these
A government-supported film directory is what you're talking about. It already exists, but something that's supported. Yes.
It exists, but we don't have...
A government-backed, you're saying.
Total, because how we work usually in the film industry is, we've got few production managers, especially I have a co-production manager at Rajasthan, who will get me the artist. But we don't have a registry system.
Okay.
This is one.
So you're saying these festivals, these platforms are huge opportunities for us to collate
exactly.
Talent. Got that, sir. Got that. Thank you so much. Ma'am, before I go on to Mr. Pilcher there, I will once again ask both of you that in the existing educational opportunity in the space, in the country, the existing colleges, from where I'm seeing it, and I could be very, very wrong, ma'am, but I think there is a huge scope for the government to step in and set up more institutes across the length and breadth of our nation. And are there such plans in the coming times? Sir, are there such plans that you'd like to partner with? Ma'am, please.
There is indeed a huge opportunity for trainings in the creative sector.
Ji.
Yes, there is a huge demand. And we want that this demand should be filled up by various educational institutions, including the government. So government should not be the only party that should be creating institutions or courses, but the industry and the private partners should also be pitching in for that.
Okay.
With FTI, we keep getting a lot of demands that FTI, and I said FTI should go to the states and set up institutions.
Yes.
So what we have been doing with the states is that you set up your own school or your own department in your university. We will fully support you. We'll be the knowledge partner.
Okay.
And you set up your own, let's say, department in the university, so that we equip them, we help them recruiting their faculty, and you know, they come up as.
So instead of you know, another FTI, you have existing universities. You're creating departments and you're supporting them.
Come up on their own, and then we support them constantly.
Okay.
So
does the job, yeah.
Yes. So they've done. FTI has done MOUs with Ladakh University.
Okay.
I think a couple of other universities, OP Jindal University.
Okay.
So
wow.
This is how they are, you know, spreading across and supporting other institutions to come up accordingly.
So the government, the awareness is there that this needs to be done.
It is there. We don't want just educational sector, only the government educational sector to come up. We want a number of partners all over the country.
But somehow, ma'am, I feel that the government-led educational institutions in this field are really the best ones. So somewhere they will have to take that first step to, you know, set the bar and thus help in this expansion, so that there is a bit of a directive in how this entire sector of education will open up. I feel that government institutions do really the best job in this. Sir, would you like to add to this discussion here?
I'll just add what the ma'am said. as NFDC has been awarded and the responsibility has been given to create more and more center of excellence.
Okay.
And it's very difficult to put an investment within days and nights and to create an, so we are in a process of collaborating with the few private players who are already in this field.
Okay.
And that's the best way out.
Would you
And,
like to let out a few beans out of the bag and tell us
like
what's
recently
names?
we did with the Innovative Academy in the Bangalore. We had
Hanji.
tied up with them.
Yes.
So we are an awarding body and assessment body also.
Ji.
So we'll be assessing their work also, and if they are fitting to our criteria and they are following all the norms and the regulations of the awarding body, then we are definitely going to continue. So this was the recent example. So we are in search for plenty of such institutes where we can go and collaborate. And the PPP mode is the best way out in creating more and more skill power in this regard. And the most important thing is that there are few private institutes who are not kind of upgrading themselves. I have come across and interacted few students who have done certain courses and they are still jobless in the market.
Yes.
Because those academy and institutes are not upgrading as per the need of the market now. So that's the most important thing. This is a rapidly changing world and you have to update your courses accordingly and then plan these courses so that the youth who are kind of graduating from those institutes should get an ample opportunities in the market.
Yes.
So now the VFX, in India, there were hardly in the last few years, if you talk about, there was no much of any VFX use. Now every movie is coming, more than post-production work is comprising of the VFX work. So my only concern was that these private institutes, once they open, they don't kind of upgrade themselves. So they need to be updated with the market scenarios and accordingly should design their courses and content.
So I also feel, I'm just giving this input as a citizen India, as a moderator, I shouldn't be, but I just feel that most of these private courses that are out there, especially in smaller towns, they're very heavily priced. So even therein, the government needs to sort of step in and ensure that the pricing is realistic so that a larger part of our population can access that education and skill training and thus contribute in the future to the film economy. So that is a suggestion from my side.
That's what ma'am said. The industry should also have to come forward.
Yes.
And because government can't keep on subsidizing at every front and hooks and corner.
Yes, yes.
So it's the demand of industry also.
Yes.
So they should come, they should be more forthcoming in this way. Government will support them definitely with the policies
Yes,
and accordingly.
yes. Carter, I've been, wanting to talk to you for the last 10. Very exciting conversation that will now start with you. See, one is that there is education, there is training, you're teaching. But there again, there is that whole approach to creative field where you learn on the job. And most of us really feel that there's no better way than to learn on the job. And this whole new boom of OTT and this whole new boom of short films out there. Wow, what a training ground for new talent. Come on.
Well,
The conversation is
I think
yours from
that's-
here on.
It's absolutely true.
Yeah.
It has become an explosion of,
It's an explosion, absolute
of
explosion.
platforms, of ways to get trained. And if you look at how it is that you train a new generation of filmmakers, India has been in a big transition from a different way of making films to now starting to put out films that are very international and very, Indian stars are becoming well known everywhere, not just in Bollywood, and it's a very exciting thing. And I think some of these things just happen because of the platforms that are there. But this government has been doing a couple of things that are absolutely exactly what government should do. One of them is making tax incentives, creating tax incentives that give businesses a reason to invest.
Carter, you're very soft. I want to request you to speak a little back.
Is that better?
Yes, Carter.
The first is to create tax incentives
Okay.
that give businesses a reason to invest. And the government has put forward very bold plans in terms of filmmaking tax incentives that have caught the world's attention, right? And I'm not sure is that better? And then the second thing is, government can't provide all these young kids and young filmmakers and young talent, you can't give them all a job. But you can provide leadership. And this 75 Creative Minds is really an attempt, I think, at giving a signal to young filmmakers that they have an opportunity, that there is there is real opportunity in the filmmaking sector, and they can make movies and really build their career. So it's a very exciting time. I think I've been surprised, as a private businessman, surprised at how switched on the government here has been in terms of
course it is.
doing things that really
This government is.
work for us and are really starting to build an internationally competitive film sector.
Yes. Would Shots TV like to roll out some initiatives for young Indian talent in the coming future?
That is all we do. I spend all day, every day watching short movies by emerging talent. And we are seeing, when we started 5 years ago, we
Give us numbers in
Yeah,
India at
we
least.
saw-
I mean, number of short films that you sort of put out there.
thousands and thousands. We're showing every year on Shorts TV here in India, we're showing about 5,000 films.
5,000 films you're saying per year.
A year, and probably 3,000 are local films. We're seeing enormous growth in Maharashtri film, in Tamil films, in Telugu films, in shorts, and they're good, and they're funny, and it is like a...
And viewership is significant.
I didn't know, I live in Britain, I didn't know anything about, I didn't know what Telugu meant, and Malayalam, and the comedies in some of these other languages are outrageous. So we're having Shorts TV, we're having a blast, just seeing great talent doing great work.
Hrishitaa, coming to you, so is that, if I'm right, double the number of big screen films that are made in the country?
Well, two things. Shorts TV should definitely associate with the Indian talent and have more short films. Again, another aspect, short films.
But can I just
Yeah,
say,
sure,
Rashida,
sure.
we tried, so we've been acquiring lots of films. And we're in the United States as a cable channel, in Europe as a cable channel, in Britain. So we started, and for small cable channels, for instance, Saturday nights everybody watches the big local X Factor show or something that's really on TV. So in cable, you have to counter program on Saturday nights and create something unique and smaller. So we created a show in America and in the UK called Bombay Mix, which is just named after the snack that's very popular. And we just show 2 hours of Indian shorts in America and in the UK, and we doubled our ratings on those nights.
Lovely.
So
Well,
we're
yeah.
seeing a really great
Yes.
uptake internationally.
Yes, so this is like you said, double the work. Two things. Being a part of the steering committee member, I've been on this before as well. This year, obviously, we have much more at the global platform. What the government does in India, I already feel that a lot of governments the world over do not do. A lot of films that are made in other countries, they're not always dependent on the government. I feel that the initiatives of, you have schools, but they're not always backed by governments. And of course, you have courses there which are, because you need to have that training, because for example, I'm a dancer. If I have done a course, I need to be coming from a certified particular gharana or, a kind of section of training to say, okay, this is what I have done for people to understand. But at the same time, what I feel is that already a lot of initiatives have been taken state-wise to give incentives, while you said about the taxes, right? So we already have had that opportunity, and you see cinema is a booming sector today is one of the reasons that every state has already started that. And more than that, I feel that even globally we're giving incentives to foreign film productions. If I'm talking only about the business point of view, which is fantastic. And this is something which never happened before. So if you see there is double work, there is enough collaboration on a global platform, and that is something which is already, a lot of countries had done, but I think this year onwards we've started that. And there's documentary section, there's short films, there's many things that happen. So it's not about the festival. This festival apparently, like even Raviji was saying, the Film Bazaar is the most popular. I think by itself, the kind of work that IFFI has been doing is already on a very, fantastic level. But at the same time, to bring that kind of awareness, like Neerja ji said, I think that's what is going to happen, and that's going to be the future today. I'm going to be watching probably short content on my phone very soon. I'm not going to have the time to watch. But at the same time, there are cinema lovers. So it's going to be all of it. Yes. And this is not just about us, but it's about everyone, everywhere. We have films coming from abroad. We went, in fact, Ravinder ji and we were discussing at Venice, the Film Festival of India. We took our, we were talking at, one of the panels of Italy and India, and there were a lot of people who came to us and said, we love Indian cinema, and they do not know, and, so they said, why can we not have it in our language? We want it to be dubbed, we want subtitles. So I think the expansion is fantastic, and the government's already done that. And I feel a little more maybe will push this ahead.
Ma'am, I would like to add one more
Yes, sir, please.
important
Please.
thing.
Please, please.
Those were the days earlier when we had two heroes in a language. When I meant there were only two heroes. And those days were the earlier
Sir,
days.
and two heroines also.
Huh?
Two heroines
Everywhere.
also.
Now we have got at least 40, 50 heroes in each language.
Yes.
That means we are accepting new talent.
Yes, yes, of course.
There's a lot of new talent which has been
You
accepted.
cannot ignore the new talent, sir. They're
And
making their way. Yes.
And they are progressing.
Yes.
And because as Neerja said, Neerja and Mr. Ravinder were saying, film industry is committed to accept one new talent. In that case, one easiest way is new talent should start approaching the industry, and the industry is committed in supporting new talent. So
Yes,
what
that's
we
good to
ask
hear,
is,
sir.
we've got the Chamber of Commerce, we've got the Film Federation of India, we've got all other bodies here. We are hunting for talent again, because we are hunting for scripts, we are hunting for new thoughts.
Just a matter of time when both boats will come together and a bridge will form very soon.
We all have to unite. This process is unification of our government, film industry, artists, technicians, with one main idea is to increase the number of films, good content, which is worth watching by people. So this can be achieved. And the way it is going, we should also remember that during Corona, let us not forget that most important thing. When the world was depressed, when the world had all their doors shut, they were sitting. Only industry which gave solace, which gave comfort to every human being on this earth was cinema entertainment. So
Yes, sir.
let us
Yes.
not forget that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So there is hope for cinema because everyone says.
Of course
so,
there is.
But this is the time where we unitedly work, and the Film Federation of India and all other bodies are committed in accepting new talent. Please come to Film Bazaar. We'll approach the Film Bazaar. We'll accept new talent. We'll listen to short stories. We'll listen to long stories, all different cinematographers. Let them show their content, artists. We'll take them into our fold, make wonderful films. Now, off
So
late, let
heartening
us
to hear.
not forget there was a film called Kantara, which was released, a small budget film, making waves.
देखिए ना.
Because in case you try something different, people will accept you. There's only one thing I'm saying.
Yes.
Kindly do be different.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. So it's just so wonderful to hear all of this positive talk here. As a citizen, मुझे तो ये लगता है कि हलचल हो रही है, जो पहले शायद बहुत सालों पहले नहीं थी, बट अब लग रहा है कि हलचल हो रही है. हलचल गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से भी हो रही है, इंडस्ट्री की तरफ से भी हो रही है, सब स्टेक होल्डर्स की तरफ से हो रही है. तो विद योर परमिशन एक बिगुल यहाँ बजा देते हैं कि भाई अब हलचल शुरू हो चुकी है. बी रेडी टू वेलकम चेंज in the M&E sector, especially in the region of skill development. I do feel that this is an industry that will contribute greatly to the soft power of India across the globe, ma'am. And that power is going to have a lot of significance in the coming times. It is, of course, going to contribute to our economy in a big way. And most importantly, I feel, it is an industry that contributes to the happiness quotient of the people of India and the people of the world. It is an industry that can change social fabric of this country, and that makes it so important to have proper skill development happening in this field. I'm going to go from you, ma'am, to her. Quick 30 seconds, sum up statements, and then we're going to wrap this panel up. Please.
I think, I mean, of course, enough has been spoken. So, I mean, I was, of course, talking about how I started to, things have definitely changed quite a bit now. So I would say that, yes, more institutions, because the demand is there. Writing skills, where I feel as an industry worker, we always struggle to find good writers. So I think that's one thing that if I would pick up one thing,
Just give me a moment. If there's somebody with a pen and paper, just let's take down these summing statements and then we can hand them over to ma'am and sir here. I think that'll be
yeah,
such a
if I
productive
would
use.
like to pick up one thing, I would say that if you could have some institutes to actually develop writing skills in our younger, lot and, develop good writers. That's one thing that I think the industry still needs a lot of push.
Yes.
I would pick up that.
Okay, that's what you suggest. Yes, sir. Your summation, your closing statements.
Only request is young talent come forward.
Okay.
Please don't sit. Come and meet the producers. Pitch your content. Show your talent, showcase your talents. Producers will be interested in interacting with you and making films with you. Because many of you do not interact. Kindly, we've got associations, we've got bazaars, we've got things. Because most of them, because as Film Federation of India and Chamber, I get every other day, I get around 15, 20 scripts. At once upon a time, we used to get nearly 80 to 100 scripts a day was being sent by young talent. Please, we want to make films.
Oh.
Nowadays, we don't get. Please, send your scripts, send your pictures. We would share it among our producers and we will encourage talent. This is only one thing. And let us make good films with youngsters.
Carter, you.
And I would say, make it short.
Make it short. I totally agree. Also given the attention span of audiences nowadays. Sir, please.
We have understood the requirements of the industry, and as Mr. Kotarakara was saying, a lot of content is there. The challenge is how it should reach to the audience. So we have taken a note of this. We totally agree the screen density is reducing, especially in the COVID period. It has further gone down. So we are kind of thinking of creating a OTT platform of NFDC, where in fact the small filmmakers who are not finding the
Lovely.
platforms anywhere, they could, on a
Gee, this
revenue
is
sharing
big.
basis, they could post on the NFDC's platforms, and it will be a win-win situation for both the content creators and the viewers also.
क्या बात है, तालियां हो जाए. This is the big news from this panel. Ma'am, please add.
My slogan would be industry-government partnership.
Okay.
And with this partnership, we, for example, if you talked about writers training, so we recently had tied up with a big OTT platform, where in NFDC, we had a skill training by the platform for screenwriting, only women screenwriters. So we had this training specifically. So now that the MD talked about NFDC going into skilling in a big way, so we are going to have courses in a manner that make our talent ready for the industry. So they may have passed out from institutions or may be having some original talent, but we're going to script it, polish it, and present these people to the industry. That's what NFDC and we'll be working on.
And you've already had this initiative rolled
We've
out.
had it successfully, and we are going to go further for it.
Further with it.
Yes.
Kya baat hai. I think we all should, happy claps. Come on, everyone. See this movement happening. Yes, your closing
Since I'm
comments.
the last one to give the last word here. there's already a lot happening. And the only thing is, let's make this, you know, I would say, market this from the government, make it loud and clear. Jaise hum, you know, we go and have slogans about it. We have, you know, I think awareness is important. You're already doing a lot more work than we can actually imagine. The only thing we need now is for people to know, the youth to know, and that's about it. And it will all be fine. Because this is not known. A lot of facts, and today you made the biggest announcement. If you want your OTT channel, what better than that? So I think this just needs to go out there, and yeah, we begin.
We need a new hashtag, and
Yeah, totally.
let's get started.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have my orders to open the house for no, for questions, and then we'll do that. So can I ask, open the house for 3 questions, Sonal? Is that good? So we'll take 3 questions, please. Yes, sir, your question, please. Introduce yourself, sir. And who you're asking the question to.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
it's
evening.
Mostly to the NFDC and the INB department in this matter.
Yes, sir.
I am K. Basireddy. I'm the president of Telugu Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, sir.
I'm also a executive council member for South Indian Film Chamber of Commerce, along with Kotarakara and Film Federation of India also.
Yes.
I'm known to introduce the digital film technology in this country in 2003. I went all over the country, gave seminars and so on and so forth. Had my own hard times and all that stuff. That's a different story. Now everything is digital. I served my purpose coming back to America and into India. My question is, I also have an academy. I'm affiliated. They were almost shutting down our academies, all the MOU academies in Hyderabad. We brought in a policy for the AVCG. We are now 1,000 crores worth of building being built in Hyderabad itself. To make a long story short, what I'm trying to say is we can never get 100% enrollment into these courses. Parents are not interested in this. We need somebody like Modi ji to come out and say literally that this is the field to be in. And I'll tell you the reason. We can look around our monuments. With mundane chisels and hammers, we made great monuments which are even today, after thousands of years, symmetrically correct, engineeringly correct. There is an inherent genes in our youth of our nation.
Of course there is.
Y2K is nothing in front of it. Every single subject of education needs to be converted into a creative format, creative way of expressing those courses. And I tell you, I mean, I coined even creative engineering, like chemical engineering, mechanical engineering. I had to fight with the department for 3 years to get trademark creative engineering. This is nothing but creative engineering.
Yes,
Parents needs to know this is another engineering. It's creative engineering. Our parents are still worried about our kids needs to go to engineering or medicine.
So, sir, what you're essentially asking them
I
is...
want NFDC and information department to promote that this is the place. I mean,
so it's a good industry to be in, is what the parents need to know.
Let them point me one industry where creative engineering is not required today.
So you're suggesting to them,
out.
sir, that will they be open to having the Prime Minister as sort of an ambassador to, like he backs yoga and many other initiatives. So that is what, ma'am, I think he's essentially asking.
Absolutely. Modi ji is the icon of our nation and the world, as a matter of fact.
I completely agree with what he says.
Yes, ma'am.
Because when we were having our industry interaction recently, when we were working on the AVGC sector, and the report is to be submitted any day in December first week, this is what we felt, that there are students who want to study AVGC, animation, IT-related courses, but the parents are not ready to invest in that. Because they are not aware of the potential of the sector.
Yes.
And they think it is film world. There's a bias against children going into the film world, unfortunately, because they think this is related to films, and for the biases that are still existing in certain tier 2, tier 3 and rural areas in the country, for lack of awareness and education, we found this to be a big impediment. That's why when we were discussing education, I spoke in the very beginning that we thought we'll introduce this little design and creative element as it's an AVGC sector when we look at that, but at the school stage, we don't talk of AVG. We just talk of, a little creativity and design over there. That's why this input at the education sector in the schools and thereafter in the colleges.
And then your
That's how we are
transformation.
gradually making this
Yes.
sector aware at the parents level, at the school level, at the teacher level as well. I think we'll be able to drill it down to that level. I'm very sure because of the potential of this sector. It's a services sector. We're not only providing services to the exporting services in this area, in the post-production area, but we are creating IPs as well. So as it grows, I'm extremely sure, but the way we are trying to project it, I think we'll be very successful and we'll be able to handle this.
And also, sir, to add to your suggestion, I think the Prime Minister already, in many occasions, has been seen with artists from the cinematic world. And I think that does send across a message to the public of India that, here is an industry that even he is happy to support. Yes, can we have... Yes, ma'am, your question.
Hello. My name is Maria Thompson. I'm a Malayalam actor, but
Hello.
I want to call Indian actor.
Yes.
It was a very fruitful discussion. Thank you, panel. My question is to the ministry and NFDC. So I quit my job last year and I wanted to get trained as an actor.
Okay.
So my best place was Bombay. So I was like in a total confusion of where to enroll. And apparently I found so many institutes and institutions and private acting tutors. And then I looked at FTI. But what I found was the number of seats in FTI and all these government-recognized institutions are very, very few compared to the talent that's emerging here.
Yeah.
And because of which, we are actually forced to the private, unregulated sector.
Okay.
And where the syllabuses are not regulated, even in the course of conduct, it's not really the best.
Okay.
And sometimes, like you guys already discussed, they're out of the old times. Sometimes it's not really innovative. They go around talking about things, nothing gets really accomplished. So what is government's initiative to sort of regulate it and bring these private institutions also at the same standard as FTI?
Ah, that's a wish list.
It is a need of the hour to create, and the talent is already created, to polish this talent and present them to the industry. It's a challenge, but it's also a requirement, and we feel that this requirement cannot only be met by the government sector. I feel partnership with the industry and the private and jointly run institutions also have to play a role in this. So we are looking at standardization of syllabus, of academic inputs in this area, which is one of the ways of looking at it. And performing arts is a different area. AVGC is one thing, but performing arts is a totally different area. So that is one where NSD also plays a big role. A film training institution is also coming up in Arunachal Pradesh. So we feel that will cater to the northeastern sector of the country. That is in the government sector. So there's going to be a third institute other than FTI, SRFTI, and now the FTI. I think it should be functional in another 1 year. Construction is almost over. So we are looking at standardization of syllabus in the AVGC sector and in the other technical aspects of the creative sector.
Wow, and one in Kashmir also, ma'am, in the future.
Yes.
Suggestion.
I come with government of Kashmir and Ladakh both.
Acha, you are Tiger. Oh, good to hear, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, that's a long way from South India, by the way. But my question is, do you really think about increasing the seats for FTI and NSD and other government sector schools?
Yeah, it can be looked at. As of till the next year, we are catching up with the COVID phase in the sense there were two gap years in the sense that there were no classes. So we are having double the batches constantly going on in FTI and SRFTI. But maybe a couple of years later, because we have to create a lot of physical infrastructure, because see, the number of students in each course would be 40, 50, 20, you know, very, very limited. So a lot of focused acting is another one which has very, very limited courses. So cameraman, editing. So we have to create a lot of infrastructure. Funds are no problem, but not at the moment. Not at the moment, maybe 2 years later.
Point taken. Thank you for your question.
I
have to give others a chance.
Sorry,
Please, no, I have to give others a
This
chance.
is very
There are-
important.
We can discuss later.
She'll take it
after
with
this.
you,
I'm available.
ma'am, after the
I'm
discussion.
available, yes.
She's right here. Please feel free to
We'll
walk up to her.
discuss.
You want? Are we out of time now? All right. Ma'am, should we take?
35 seconds, ma'am.
Would you promise 20 seconds?
There's
Short,
nothing much.
short
See,
question.
the basic,
Thank you. Go ahead.
Basic thing is this, you all have all discussed writing. Okay? One of the great writers, Kamlesh Pandey, said that until the paper is written on, there is no film, no nothing. Writing is the basic talent that should be created from the time we write essays in our class to the time we finally write our wills when we are handing over things. Writing is the essential thing that we can do. We don't need brick and mortar buildings. We don't need brick and mortar buildings. We have internet and we have Zoom. And I have the experience because I have done it, so therefore I know what can be done.
Yes, sir.
And I mean,
You'd like to take it offline with them?
Ravi is there,
Okay.
he's our president, we can
Yes, sir.
take care of that.
So this can happen, the conversation can happen
Thank you very
after.
much.
Thank you, so thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Film Development Corporation is treading into skill development. They have affiliated with the Innovative Film Academy, which is the first of its kind academy, catering to all aspects of filmmaking. May I please play for you a film that tells you more about this affiliation? Attention on the screens. From the looks of it, we're on our way. Put our hands together, ladies and gentlemen, please. May I please invite on the dais Shri Sarvana Prasad, Founder Director, Innovative Film Academy. Good evening, sir. Are you please? And may I please request Ravinder ji to hand over the affiliation certificate to Shri Sarvana Prasad.
Thank you, sir.
And sir, a few words from you on this occasion.
Good evening. Thank you very much. So what you announced in our film festival, you will be associated with us. Thank you very much. It was very nice of you to make it reality. And as Mr. Bhattireddy sir told, we are, for our students, we are the last priority. First, students wants to be a doctor, engineer, everything all left out. The last comes to us. And we have to convince their parents. That was a real true story. But still, Rashmika was our first student. And now she's, when they know now she earns 5 crores, everybody comes. One breakthrough should be there. Now for a movie, she gets a 5 crore. So one breakthrough, only a cinema can make from 0 to lakhs. No other place, as you told ma'am, anywhere you go, there is a system of climbing. But only in cinema, from 1 to 1 lakh, you can climb in 1 second. That's why they love cinema. And that's how we have been. And we have a full round circle. We have a studio, we have a theater, we have a cinema, and we have a production. We have made, every year we make 35 to 50 short films. We produce films. And now also we are planning for 10 films with 10 top production houses. And Ravi Kotarakara sir is our chief patron who guide us and guide. Thank you very much for this opportunity for us. Thank you. Thank you.
And may I request you all to please come together for a group photograph? Photographers in the house, click away. Thank you. Thank you all esteemed dignitaries and esteemed guests for joining us for this panel discussion. Thank you very much, audience, for your attention, for your questions and participation. I hope this discussion not just added steam to the conversation, but also gave the ecosystem out there some important answers. Thank you very much. This is Gitikka Ganju Dhar saying you are a wonderful audience.